But there's one claim in particular that I've been fascinated by, which is the claim that it's taking too long to count the ballots. This is something we hear all the time. We hear that, we always knew who won on election night. Why is it taking days now? As if we forgot about the Florida election of 2000. As if we've forgotten about the fact that the Constitution itself says that, for instance, the presidential electors don't meet until about a month and a half after the election. So there's enough time to count the ballots and confirm the results. Let's talk a little bit, and I'll start with you again, Bill, and then go to you, Stephen. Talk a little bit about what you're doing to address the legitimate concerns about trying to count the ballots as quickly as you can, while also accounting for integrity. You want to do it right. It's better to get it right than fast, but maybe you might be moving a little bit towards both directions. Bill?
Yeah, I mean, this is an important issue to folks. We understand that they're concerned that it takes so long for the networks to call races in Arizona. That's not because we're doing anything wrong at the different counties. It's not that we're breaking the law. It's simply that these races are extremely close. So that's number one. Number two, we don't have all the ballots in. We cannot tabulate all of the ballots on election night. Again, we're not doing anything wrong. In fact, we're doing everything right. For example, in the 2022 election, we had 290,000 ballots, mail-in ballots dropped off on election day at the polling places. We are not in a position to tabulate them on our side of the house because Stephen's team needs to get those in. He needs to go through the signature verification. They do a wonderful job of it. But again, and I can't underline this enough, if I have a choice between speed and accuracy, I'm going to pick accuracy all day long.
And to be fair, also, I mean, Stephen's team can't start verifying and you can't start counting until you have the ballot. And if the ballot is returned late in the day on election day, that process is going to start at that time. And so depending on what the volume is, it might take some time.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do want people to know that it is the goal of this team, the Board of Supervisors and Stephen's team in Maricopa County, that we will have 99% of the ballots counted by Friday afternoon. And so again, with all of the different legal requirements that we have, that is a goal that we believe that we can achieve. But we have also taken measures in Maricopa County. We have invested funds to expand our operations at Maricopa County to speed this up. But the reality is that a lot of these laws that could really speed up the process, that's in the hands of the state legislature. And I don't mean to criticize them at all, but they have decided between the state legislature and the governor to not make certain changes that may have sped things up. But working within the confines of the law that we have, making the investments that we have, I'm confident that we'll be able to hit that goal.
Stephen, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, yeah, okay, so you can change the law, and by the way, there's not consensus here, and that's something that can be debated. Should you roll up the early voting deadline such that you can have a higher percentage, or should you accommodate that convenience of being able to drop it off until 7 p.m. on election night? There's differing policy. As long as we all agree and we understand the system, that's fine. We haven't changed the law. Two, you can change voter behavior. So Lindsay knows in our household, you better get that ballot out within 48 hours of it being on our kitchen household. That's the rule in our household. If you all did that, then we could have 99% of ballots available at 8 p.m. on election night. So if you have fully formed thoughts about, say, presidential candidates, then I'd encourage you to get your ballots back, well, before today. So that's another way. Then the thing that we can control is, or we can at least make some improvements on, is really credit to the Board of Supervisors who have allocated a lot of resources to just being able to expand our facilities, to throw more bodies on it, such that when that rush of ballots comes, we don't compromise the integrity of the system by saying, oh, don't signature verify it. And heavens knows, lots of people have accused Maricopa County of just not doing signature verification, but then they simultaneously say you should go faster, which is a little bit rich. So we have said we're not going to compromise on that, but we're going to be able to throw more bodies on it, and that means we have more space for this one. We have more people who are going to be working that late night shift. But it's still, look, if it's going to be a race that's decided by fewer than 600 votes, as our Attorney General contest was in 2022, like, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to get to 99.9% before you can call that race, because if the last batch of ballots comes in and it breaks heavily for the other candidate who's not winning, then the media stations are going to wait to make that call. And that can be frustrating because someone will say, you know, it's different in Florida.
Adrian?
Yeah, David, I think one of the things that we're forgetting here is Maricopa County has actually counted its ballots, generally speaking, in just about the same period of time for a long time. But it has grown incredibly over that same period of time. And the number of ballots that have to be counted has also grown incredibly. So that's one thing I think folks need to pay attention to. We actually are, particularly in Maricopa County, counting those ballots a lot faster than we were. Here's another factor that's important. It's a lot more important to folks because, as you mentioned, the margins are so much tighter. You know, when Senator McCain, may he rest in peace, years ago was winning elections by 25 points, right? Everybody just kind of knew where it was going to go. But as we did also understand, the projections from those times were that the politics in Arizona is going to change. The people are going to change a little bit. And as the margins narrow and narrow and narrow, you can't just mathematically predict these things as quickly as possible, even though it's taking about the same amount of time to count way more ballots. So when you take the actual factors into account, Maricopa County is doing a pretty doggone good job.
Yeah.